He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ale, 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 ale.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another match reaction. You will notice that I am not Hal. We've been promoting this on YouTube as it's going to be Hal. I'll be completely honest with you. I've had a bit of a hard week in regards to work. I felt really run down and really, overwhelmed with everything that's gone on recently. And I just felt like I needed a match reaction off or a week off. However, didn't feel it was right, to be honest. Obviously, we all know that Hal lives in a different country, so Hal can't go to the games like he used to be able to. And I felt like it was a very emotionally charged day. And I felt it wouldn't be right if somebody who wasn't sort of in the ground didn't do this match reaction tonight. So, yeah, it's going to get emotional. It really is. There were some touching scenes before the kickoff. I went to the fan zone, which obviously Johnny Blade or Johnny Eldridge, I think his surname is. That's what Gary Sinclair was saying. He performed Starman, obviously with the lyrics, the changed lyrics to George Baldock, and he's added his own little spin on it as well, which he was fantastic, and it was great to meet Johnny. So yeah, I know obviously from before the game that he was playing, so I wanted to make sure I was there to hear him. And he did it twice while I was there. I think he might have done it one time before I was there, and he was just brilliant. So well done, Johnny. You were fantastic, mate. Then going into the ground, obviously it's absolutely packed. It was 28 something today, 28,000 something, and great turnout from the Blades, great turnout from Stoke as well. And then obviously we had all the kind of videos of George on the screen, which was really emotional. Again, I'm somebody that if I've not met someone, I met George very briefly, and I didn't even really have a conversation with him at the player do. I'm somebody that I can't get massively emotionally attached to someone that I don't know really well. Obviously, with George being there 7 years, I felt emotional in the lead up to this game or before this game, obviously when it happened and stuff like that. Today just hit me like a ton of bricks. Did not expect it to hit me like what it did today. Seeing all the videos of George on the screen, and then the one thing that really got me, it obviously was Gary Sinclair speaking about George before the game, announcing kind of as he does. George Baldock was this, he did this, he did that, like he normally does. He couldn't get his words out. He really struggled to get his words out. It was so emotional. And I think everybody felt it. Everybody felt it in that ground. But not just that. It was Ender Stevens walking over. Ender Stevens getting a start. I know he didn't play in the last game. I think it was the last game for Stoke. But it's nice to see him start and bring over a wreath. And he laid it down in front of the south stand, same as what Ethan Ampadu did at the Leeds game. A lovely touch. Both of them obviously knew George well, having played with him for 7 years, because I think they both came at the same time, same season. And Ethan obviously having that loan spell with the Blades in the Premier League mostly during COVID. So that was lovely. Really nice to see. Obviously, Gary Sinclair's speech was incredible. I don't know if he had more to say, but he just really struggled to get it out, and I don't blame him. I think the minute silence was mostly respected by the Stoke fans. 95%, maybe even more, maybe 97% respected it. There was some singing that probably, you know what happens. It happens in the concourse, doesn't it? Where people in the concourse, they don't realise what's going out on the pitch because they're drinking and trying to finish the pints before they get in. I get it. There's not one part of me that is annoyed by Stoke fans for not respecting it, because these fans just don't understand what's happening at that time, and it's fair play to them. But yeah, what was funny was that it was very emotional, and then one bloke just shouted, "Shut!" I think it was "Shut the F up, you," P swear word ending in K. And it just lightened the mood massively. You could just hear the titters and the murmurs of people just laughing under their breath because it was really funny. And it actually broke the ice massively because I think we all felt quite emotional. And during that minute silence, God, feeling it right now. They gave these out at the end of the game as well, which was lovely. A lovely little touch. Lots of Blades fans will be able to put them on their walls. Kids, I'm talking about. I'm not expecting 50-year-old blokes to put them on the walls, but it's really, really nice. I will put mine in the back of my setup. I'll pop it there. That's going to be there unless somebody would like it that didn't get it. So if anybody didn't manage to get one, they were giving them out after the game, let us know and I'll post it out to you because, obviously someone might want it more than I do. So yeah, obviously it'll stay there unless somebody pops in the comments. Just DM me on Twitter if you'd like that George Baldock. I can always get another one. I'm sure I can. But yeah. Whew, right. I didn't expect that. That was a tough part. We got through it. Let's move on. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here today. Let's get into talking about the game. And obviously, we did it for George today. We got that win. We desperately needed that win today. It was very, very simple. I did not expect it to be that easy. I know Tom Cannon was absolutely on fire the other week. And I was a little bit worried going into this game with obviously we'd been linked with Tom Cannon. And I was thinking, yeah, he's obviously going to score against us. But the opposite thing happened. Tyrese Campbell, who played for Stoke, scored against Stoke. And we'll get on to that in a bit because there was a lot of shushing to the Stoke fans and a lot of ear cupping, which I didn't expect to see, in all honesty. So, feisty from Tyrese Campbell. And obviously he's on the thumbnail as well, doing his celebration thing that I don't think I can do that, but I think that's what he does. So, yeah, it's nice to see Gilchrist, well, the back four be the back four that I think most people want to see. I still think Sariki deserves some minutes, which he didn't get again today, because I think Sariki, when he's come on, has been fantastic going forward. Imagine having Sariki with Raksaki in front of him. Like, you'd be one-dimensional, but you would be so entertaining to watch down that right-hand side. But no, it was nice to see Gilchrist on the right and Burrows on the left. I want to see those two play there for the majority of the season, in all honesty. I do know that, there's so many games going on that we're obviously going to have to change it up a little bit every now and then. And we know that the other fullbacks can step in, Shackleton, Sariki, and the left-hand side too, McCallum, and I felt like there was another one as well. Oh, Reece Davis, of course. The midfield, as we expect, Gus Harmer not in there. Obviously, suspended. That's fine. He'll be back for the next game. I believe that Ollie Arblaster is on 3 bookings too. So I think that now means that he definitely will play against Sheffield Wednesday unless any injuries happen. I know he went down and we were all a little bit fearful that he was going to be injured. But got back up, carried on playing. Seems like he's fine. So fingers crossed, Ollie Arblaster is okay. Let's get into the game, shall we? So we get a goal really early on, 14 minutes into this game. It's happened quite a lot of times at Bramall Lane, us scoring early. And it was that boy, Kiefer Moore. Of course, he was going to score eventually because Kiefer Moore's done that all his career. He's had a little bit of a tough time recently, especially in that last game where I think I even give him a little bit of stick, both him and Callum O'Hare, because we really offered nothing against Borough away. But he got his goal 14 minutes into the game. Obviously, with me being at the game, wasn't sure whether this was a deflection or he had flicked this goalwards and it got into the back of the net, because it was a free kick on the edge of the box. Ollie Arblaster gets brought down. Burrows, which I've been begging Burrows to take free kicks, and he gets one, and it was pretty rubbish. I don't know whether he was going under the wall and he got blocked by Raksake. It wasn't going anywhere fast, in all honesty. I think the keeper would have gobbled this up pretty easily. But it hits Raksake on the back of the heel, I believe. It comes out to Gilchrist on the edge of the box. I've seen him strike balls from the edge of the box before. So when it came to him, I'm like, go on, hit it, lad. And he hit it. It was going miles wide, and Kiefer Moore just directs this towards goal. He knows what he's doing here, Kiefer. He flicks the ball towards goal, right into that bottom corner, and the Blades go 1-0 up. Great to see. Great to see the lad get on the score sheet. I'd have rather it have been one that he took really well. Do you know, like a ball into the box and he's headed it into the corner, or an instinctive finish that he's just side-footed into the corner, or something like that. But still, it's an instinctive finish. It got us off the mark, and it got him his second goal of the season, which you do love to see. In the 20th minute, Sousa hits an absolute pile driver from distance, and this came from Harry Souttar yet again getting in front of his man and nicking the ball. I never realised that man had this in his locker until we signed him. That's all he does. He just gets there quicker than everybody else. And to say, for the sheer size of the bloke, he is fantastic at getting in front of his man, nicking it off him, and starting an attack. And that's where this came from. Ended up at Sousa's feet. He pushes it out of his feet. We all know that Sousa's got a shot on him. Doesn't always end up anywhere near the goal, but this one certainly did. I think if the ball wouldn't have hit, or I think if the ball would have hit the back of the net from this strike, there would have been question marks on the goalkeeper. But it's still a good save. He hits it. It kind of swerves towards goal rather than kind of towards the corner. But he hits it with such pace, the keeper's got no chance of catching this, or he has to just push it wide, because it's a great strike. Lots and lots of pace and power on it. And yeah, it was a good save from Johansson. But like I say, if he'd have let that end, there would have been question marks. 31st minute, I think even before this, Jezran Raksake was getting some great luck down that right-hand side, just running at their left back for days. And it was getting closer and closer to goal. Brought it inside quite a lot of the time. Went for a shot sometimes that got blocked. Sometimes he was laying it inside. We just got so close to their 6-yard box every time. They were so deep, and they let us kind of get deeper and deeper into them. And sometimes we had too many men in the box, and it just all felt a little bit crowded. Even with Campbell's goal in the second half, that felt very crowded in the box. They were just sitting so deep, which maybe that's a tactic. Maybe that is a tactic. And actually, we probably should have beat Stoke 3 or 4-0 today, or 3 or 4-1 maybe, which we'll probably get onto in a little bit. But in the 31st minute, ball comes into the box. I think this is from Burrows. It's a fantastic header from Moore towards goal. Looks like it's destined for the back of the net, but it's just a little bit too high. Sets it a little bit too high. It looks like it beats the keeper, but it just beats the crossbar and just goes over. So that's kind of going into half time. I felt like everybody was playing well. I think Stoke in the first few minutes started slightly quicker, but then we kind of took over after that. Let's have a little look at the stats and the first half stats. So 71% possession from the Blades, 41 attempts, 3 shots on target, 4 off target. That is domination, and that's what we like to see. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the Blades having less possession if we have more shots and we win the game, but it's nice to see us have most of the possession, especially at home, and dominate teams. So yeah, 71 to their 29. That was nice to see. They only had 1 shot on target and 1 shot off target, 2 goal attempts. So not great. They blocked 7 of our shots in that first half. That just shows. That's what I mean. They were so deep, and they were sitting so deep, and just, I don't know, just like making it hard for us, really. When there's so many players in one sort of area, it's hard to kind of get a shot away, and that happened quite a lot in that first half. Anyway, we go. Let me mention before we move on, in the second minute, obviously, lots and lots of claps for Georgie Boy. You love to see it. That's really all it was. And yeah, it was lovely. It was really, really nice from everybody in the ground to give Georgie Boy a good old clap on the second minute. Anyway, we go into the second half, and 5 minutes into the second half, we score our second goal. Harry Suter brings it out as he does all the time. Fantastically. He goes to play a through ball through to Jezra Raksake. It's not the best of through balls. The defender slides for it, stops. He more or less stops it, but he slips as well. So he's out of position. All Stokes defensive midfielder at 6s and 7s, they're kind of like, oh God, didn't expect this to happen. Raksaki's just left with the ball in front of him to run at their defense. He runs at them. I think he's pretending to go on his left and going onto his right and shooting, as we've seen him be so effective with recently. But he gets onto his left, looks like he's going to shoot, rolls it into Tyrese Campbell, who kind of rolls the defender, shoots towards goal, but it's not the greatest of shots. I thought this was just too powerful for Victor Johansson. He kind of rolls it not under his body, but I think it's not in the corner enough, or Johansson doesn't expect it to go so close to his body. So he kind of tries to hook it out with his hand away, and he kind of hooks it into the corner. But Tyrese Campbell doesn't care. He's got his first Sheffield United league goal. That might actually be his first team goal, thinking about it, because he's obviously scored hatfuls of goals for the youth team when he was getting up to speed. But yeah, it's nice to see him score a goal. It would have been nice to have seen Brewster score today as well, or Andre Brooks coming on and scoring as well. We need to get as many people goals as possible, because I think as soon as someone picks up a goal, they end up going and scoring more and more and more, and you get that monkey off your back. And I think that's what Brewster needs. He needs a goal. My sister was saying to me earlier on, he hasn't scored for 2 years, Brewster. That's wild to think that. I know he's had a lot of injuries, but that's wild to think that. So Brewster needs a goal. He's desperate for a goal. So it'd be nice to see Brewster get a goal. But it was lovely to see Tyrese Campbell get that goal. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, he ran away. Luckily, he didn't do an Adebayor. That would have been a little bit over the top. If he'd have ran to the Stoke fans and slid in his knee and been like, yes, this is me, I'm here, then that would have been a little bit over the top. But he did run sort of towards the Blades fans via the Stoke fans and give him a bit of a cup of the ear and a bit of a shush, which didn't expect that to happen, to be honest. I didn't know the relationship between the Stoke fans and Tyrese Campbell. He's obviously been at Stoke a while. Some fans liked him, some fans didn't necessarily. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. The Blades are 2-0 up and we were coasting. Like I said, we could have won this game 3 or 4-0. We had chances. We didn't have clear-cut chances necessarily, but we had some really, really good chances in this game. In the 59th minute, the ball breaks to a Stoke player with the goal gaping, and he blazes wide. This one, it was a bit of a lump forward into the box. They got a few men round Harry Suter. For the first time in this game, he didn't just head it straight away. I think they kind of give him a bit of a bump. It just lands at the feet of one of the Stoke strikers, and he just blazes this wide. It's a really, really good chance. Probably the biggest chance of the game, probably the easiest chance of the game. And he manages to screw it wide. It's a really, really poor finish. That should have been in the back of the net. If that was us, I would be going mental about that one. In the 61st minute, Sousa gets the ball on the edge of the box after some really, really good football in and around the box, thinking we could create something really good. It didn't quite happen. We didn't fashion that chance, and it gets out to Sousa. And my sister said to me at the game, I wonder if Sousa's got something on underneath his shirt with like something about Baldock on it, because he was just shooting at will. And he had 2 really good shots today. And this one was a Victor Johansson masterclass, because that is a world-class save. I don't care what anyone says. That curl into the top corner is just sublime. Great shot from Sousa, but the goalkeeper always gets more credit than the player shooting. He flicks it over the bar. It's wondrous. And unfortunately, Sousa doesn't get the goal he probably deserves in this game because, in my opinion, I thought Sousa was just wow. Sousa was so good today. I think that's probably one of the best games Sousa's played. I'm not going to say the best because obviously there's been games where he scored goals and played well. If he'd have scored a goal today, I'd have said, yes, that's Sousa's best game for us. He just won he chased everything back, won every ball, didn't say die, never said die on any ball. He just, the ball was never out. It didn't feel like the ball was ever out of his reach. Every time a Stoke player got it, he's like, I will get this back. I will go and get this back. That's not a problem. He's a lot quicker than I give him credit for sometimes, Sousa. And he got back so many times today and got some really, really good challenges in. So fair play, Sousa. He's really, that redemption arc is arcing. He's arcing. Then Arblaster does really, really well down the left-hand side, nearly gets a ball in the box into a dangerous area, kind of gets crowded out, and he goes down injured. And this is not what we want to see. Like, Ollie Arblaster, you don't really notice him too much, and that's a good thing for sort of like a defensive midfielder, number 8, if you like. I don't know. I don't know the when people say, I know what a number 10 is. I think I know what a number 4 is. But a number 6, a number 8, I don't get it. That's why I'm doing a fan channel and not speaking about football on the TV or whatever. Well, that's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. Let's say 6 is a 6. I don't know. Yeah, if you notice him there, he's probably not doing his job well enough. And you don't want to notice players like that. You want him to just nip in and out and give the ball to somebody else. And don't get me wrong, Arblaster's a fantastic player. But yeah, when he's not there, you notice it a lot more. And you don't want him injured. And obviously, he looked in a bad way. He was down for a while and then sat up. And when players sit up, you're thinking, I think he's okay. I think he's okay. And he got up, walked around the side of the pitch, obviously got his clap, and then come straight back on. I thought we'd have just took him off because there's no point in not wasting. There's no point in, getting him injured, even more so. If we don't have to. So he came back on. He seemed absolutely fine. And that's good to see. It really is. In the 70th minute, Cooper, the goalkeeper, tried to give them a goal. It was a poor pass out into Sousa. He misplaces the pass to Sousa. They nip on it, pass it to the striker on the edge of the box. He telegraphs it and is like, Michael Cooper, that's exactly where I'm going. So if you want to dive that way, you better do it now. And he did, and he saved it. It was very, very simple. A few more things happened, but that's the majority of it. I've really, really enjoyed this game today. Obviously, the George stuff was, even though it was really, really upsetting, we gave him a good send-off. And I'm gutted and embarrassed to say that we left at full time and didn't see all the amazing things that happened after the game. And do you know what? It annoys me sometimes because I've been to the game. I've enjoyed the atmosphere was incredible. It really was. But I've missed all the kind of camera zooming in on Wilder and camera zooming in on players and showing players walking around to all the different sides of Bramall Lane and lifting the George Baldock shirt up, having pictures in front of the cop. And yes, I would have seen that, but people watching it at home on streams and stuff like that see it so close and see it firsthand. And I'm just waiting for the social media videos to come out, or behind the blades, or whatever they call it these days. So yeah, that was my day today. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, come home feeling good about where we are in the league. We are currently 4th. We are still 4th. We're 1 point behind Leeds in 3rd, 1 point behind Burnley in 3rd. I think Burnley have drawn today, haven't they? Drew 0-0 with QPR at home. Sunderland, again, they just can't stop winning. Sunderland are now 5 points clear at the top. That is incredible. The Blades would be second if it wasn't for the -2 deduction. We can't keep saying it. We're not going to say it for the rest of the season, but it is nice to see that we would have been above Leeds if it wasn't for this -2 and Burnley, because the stick that I've had on this channel from Leeds fans since we were defeated by them at their home, should I say, and we would still be above them right now. I know they've had harder fixtures, but you can only beat what's in front of you. And for the most part of this season, excluding those last 2 games, we've beaten practically everyone that's been put in front of us. So big shout out to the Blades team this season. Right, let's go into the comments, ladies and gents. Sam Jenkinson, it was an important 3 points after back-to-back defeats. Totally agree. Brian Toulson, great result for the Blades, but a very sad day. My favourite player, tearful. I was talking to, and I've forgotten his name again. Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. The gentleman that sits in front of me. Really enjoy speaking to him. And I was saying, watching the videos of George, it just almost feels like he should be here. Why is he not here? It's just wrong that George Baldock is no longer with us. It's yeah, very upsetting. And anyway, no, it was tearful, it was emotional, it was horrible, Brian. But yeah, we're all in it together, aren't we? No complaints here. Mo got lucky with his goal, but he definitely steered that towards goal. I don't think he was lucky. He was lucky that the ball came near him, but he steered that into the corner. Anel out for the next game. Is that right? Oh, right. Okay, I've not seen that. I didn't realise he was on 5. I thought Anel was on 4. But Jack Robinson's back, so be nice to see Jack Robinson slip back into centre back, and let's see what he's got. He's going to have to play really well to keep his place for the Wednesday game. I can't imagine that's going to happen. I think Anel will come straight back in because those two are colossal at the back together. They really are. Very good way to bounce back. Glad Mo was in the position to convert after the criticism. Absolutely. Do you know what? If Vinny Souza wasn't so good today, I'd have liked to have shouted out Harry Souttar for man of the match, because Harry Souttar was fantastic today. He's been fantastic most of the season. I think if it wasn't for him losing his man in the Bury game, I think he's just been incredible. I love him to bits. In work all day, so listening to Chad on the watch along. Yeah, love to see it. Chad is doing God's work. What an absolute legend Chad is. So yeah, thank you very much for stopping by on the channel earlier on. 2 goals for our starman number 2. Great tribute by all at the Lane. George will be forever be part of the Blades' glorious history. He was part of the greatest Sheffield United team I've ever seen. And I lived through that triple assault season that we all always talk about. In work all day, so listen to Chad. I predicted 3-1 Stoke. Aren't great. So regulation 3 points, cementing our place in top 6. Do you know what? I think after seeing Cannon absolutely smash goals in for fun, I was thinking that we'll be lucky to win this game today. We certainly weren't. We absolutely ran them ragged. Nick, are you concerned that Sunderland have now opened up a 5-point gap at the top of the table with Burnley and Leeds drawing and dropping points? No, because Sunderland fans aren't going to want to hear me say this, but I think Sunderland will fall away at some point. And I think a lot of people probably would have said that about Ipswich last season as well, and they clearly didn't. There's obviously times when that doesn't happen, but it happens so much. We did it when we got promoted from League One to the Championship. We were top of the league at one point. Wolves had all these incredible, some international players, like good international players, and we were top of the league, and we fell away, and we ended up 8th or 9th. I don't think they'll fall that far, maybe 3rd or 4th, but I think Sunderland they've had a fantastic start, but I do think they will fall away at some point. I think they don't quite have enough experience, in my opinion, but they've got some great players. They really have, and especially after letting go their best player in the summer, fantastic work they've done. George is taking A lot of getting over. Didn't think it would affect me as much. A professional performance from the lads. Proud Blade today. Thank you, Carl, for that, mate. Man of the match, Vinny Souza for sure. Today's performance did prove a little how much we miss him, though. Feeling one of those shots comes off next home game. You'd love to see it against Wednesday. Vinny Souza running into the cop, throwing himself into it, and yeah, oh, that would be amazing. Goosebumps. Panathinaikos, who George Baldock had played for in Greece, their supporters held up George Baldock club shirt 32 when they had a minute's silence in his honour in midweek. Yeah, that was lovely. That was really, really nice. Who was Wilder referring to when refereeing to two clubs who showed no referring to? I don't know, John. I'm not really that bothered. I don't really want to talk about that. I think Wilder sometimes lets himself down when he has to bring things like that up. It's not necessary unless they're talking about the kind of is it FIFA that didn't postpone the game, the England and Greece game. Maybe it could be that, but if he's trying to throw someone under the bus, I'm not here for it. I'm really not. Nick, are you concerned when Sheffield United get promotion to the Premier League? Their season could turn into a nightmare, as you now see Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester, unless the club spend big money. That is a worry. That is a worry. I'm not sure we will get promoted this season. I would love to see it. I think there's a lot of strong clubs up there. I think we'll definitely be in the top six. Said this all season. I definitely think we'll be in the top six. But yeah, there's a lot of big teams in there. Leeds and Burnley are going to be top three. And then there's only one other spot in the top three. And hopefully that's us, whether that be first or second. But yeah, it's going to be hard this season. But if we do go up, like you say, it could be just embarrassing again. You've got to spend big money. And if we don't have it, what's the point in going up, like some people say? Much better today, Blades. Well done. Hopefully a win. Hopefully we keep winning. Keep a winning team together instead of tinkering. I agree, John. I am all for keeping a winning side. Yeah, I don't like all the tinkering. It really does annoy me. The only 2 points I'm concerned about are the 2 dropped points versus QPR. I actually don't agree with that because I think that those 2 points that we dropped against QPR kind of galvanized the team and was like Wilder saying, do you know, if you don't see games out, that's going to keep happening to you. And it's not happened since. So, yeah, I didn't mind those 2 drop points. And I wasn't there. I was at my sister's wedding. So I didn't actually physically witness us drop those 2 points, even though I was watching on my phone and I was really, really annoyed in it room and I. Ipswich Town got the best out of Kiefer Moore by constantly supplying crosses into the box for him and his teammates, playing closer to him up front. Only O'Hare does that to a certain extent. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it would be nice to see more balls into the box too, Kiefer. If we're not going to play like that, then there's no point in playing him. We might as well bring him on for the last 20 minutes and sling balls into the box if that's what we're going to do. Well done, Nick. Very good video. Well handled and a great tribute. God bless George. Thank you, Watson Brown. I really appreciate that. I don't always have the right words for things like that. Hal and Ollie are much better than me at coming out with that sort of stuff. So I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I was at the game today, sat on the cop. It was emotionally electric. I can't speak. Yeah, it really was. I enjoyed it because it felt like we did George proud today. We really did. Sing my heart out for George today. Sheffield United have the best defensive record in the Championship. Is that right? I've not even looked at that. 6 goals. Burnley have conceded less. Yeah, Burnley have conceded 5 and we've conceded 6. So unless you mean, I'm pretty sure we have the best defensive record at home. I don't know. Let us know. Great win for George. Absolutely. Hi, watching from Australia. Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us from the land down under. Really appreciate it, mate. I believe Sheffield United will be one of the 3 teams that will get promoted, but those clubs have to spend big to survive. I just hope the ownership realises that next time around and not buy on the cheap. I wonder if we're in the next sort of 5 years going to see a lot more teams challenging for that Derby record low points. We weren't far away, in all honesty, last season, and it was embarrassing. The gap is just getting so much bigger between the Championship and the Premier League, and it's kind of ruining football for a lot of people, not just me. And obviously, Premier League teams aren't going to say that because they don't have to worry about the money. But it's so much harder for teams like, Championship teams getting into the Premier League, and it's also even harder for teams that haven't been in the Premier League for a while without parachute payments to also be around there. Because if we're looking at the table right now, Sunderland haven't got parachute payments, but then after that, Burnley, Leeds, Blades, the top 4 has 3 teams that have had parachute payments in the last couple of seasons. So and I expect there to be more teams that have had parachute payments recently in and around us. Saying that, there's not that many left. Luton are 3rd bottom. That is bad. That is really bad. Jack says, my only grumble from today is that we had 4 opportunities to shoot from a good ball on the left and they didn't, and they decided to pass instead of shoot. Good point. Very, very good point. Hi, watching from Australia. A lifelong Donny Blade. Been a Blade since I was 12, now 55. Fair play, mate. It's good to see you on the channel there. I really appreciate it. Good evening. Great result. Seen stories that Takeover is close and could, but be completed by the end of the month as deal is in final stretch and left with lawyers. We might as well leave on this, haven't we? So, in my opinion, I don't want to hear about a takeover until it's practically ready to be done. So I hope that's the reason why we're getting told about this takeover right now. I don't care who the owner is. I just want Sheffield United to be competitive. And I would like it to Prince Abdullah, but clearly he doesn't have the money that others do to kind of sustain us going up to the Premier League and being able to stay there. So hopefully if Prince Abdullah is selling us to somebody else, 1, they look after the club, and 2, they have the money to spend and try and keep us in the Premier League if we do get there. So obviously this game tonight is one step closer to the Premier League. You've got to say every win is a step closer to the Premier League. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, Kelly. Really appreciate that. Love your vlog. Appreciate it. Sharp scored today too. Hopefully a fitting tribute too. Oh, I'd love to see George take the shirt. Sorry, Billy take the shirt off and have George's face or something on his shirt. That'd be lovely to see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. If you're listening to this on podcast, please leave us a review. I really appreciate it. And leave us a like on the video before you leave if you are watching this live or if you're watching this after the fact. So thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. I will see you very, very soon. Up those blades.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.